Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video, which is me trying out the Beige Waves palette from by Nykolla and also her brushes and all of that I received in PR, so kind of her. By Nykolla is a very small brand, new indie brand based in Europe. I don't know exactly where, I just know it came from somewhere in Europe, the package, and I didn't really check, but I know it was somewhere in Europe. And the prices on the website are in euros. So that is all I know. I tried to find out for you where this brand is based. I have honestly no idea and I'm so sorry. Maybe I just didn't see it and it is really there, but I don't know. It is in Europe though, I'm pretty sure. Okay, sweeties, so this is by Nykolla. Super small fledgling brand, and you know that I love stuff like this. I love to try new things, new brands that are not being featured everywhere else, right? So that is super exciting. Now, I remember when I spoke about this palette here in my new makeup releases, and as a result of that she contacted me and she asked me if I want to have this collection. So I said yes, why not, because this is a very beautiful, of course, a neutral palette with a row of blues. And I remember when I spoke about this in my new makeup releases, I said, you know what, Beige Waves doesn't really sound so so interesting when you think about color and me and colorful makeup and colorful styling and everything. But what I said in the video was, because she called it Beige Waves, because that is such a nice name to describe something like this, and then have a palette like this, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense and it is so beautiful. And of course you also do have nice depth in the palette, but we will talk about all of that of course in a second when you see me create this look. Okay, beyond that, if you've just found me, I'm Leorah. I'm a makeup artist and stylist, and I'm living for colorful makeup. Yes, I know, I'm living for colorful makeup, not necessarily neutrals, but for me it is Friday morning when I'm filming this. And if you know me just a tiny little bit, you know that I'm doing neutral looks for my weekends, because that is when I go to my services in the synagogue and stuff. So I want to look a little bit more like this. So that's why it was just perfect, because I need palettes like this once in a while, you know. So I was just waiting for that day to roll around so I can film with this palette. Beyond that, of course, sweeties, check out my social media, which is linked in the description box down below, so you can see what else I can do. You know, if you've never seen me and you have no idea, then just check out my social media, because you will see the evidence of my work there pretty well. Okay, beyond that, of course, subscribe to my channel, because I would absolutely love to have you here. I would be absolutely thrilled. And we are going to talk in today's video also a little bit about something that has been requested. And as always, sweeties, if you have any topics you want me to talk about, please DM them to me on Instagram or write them in the comment section down below, so I can consider it for an upcoming video, okay? Because I love to be chatty with you, and it's also more entertaining than just sitting there and telling you I'm going to take this brush now and I'm going to place the eyeshadow like this, and like, who needs this, right? So sweeties, give me ideas, okay? Give me ideas what to talk about. And beyond that, we are of course going to do this look, then you'll see the swatches, and after that we'll meet here again for the review part. So without further ado, let's go right into it. Okay, sweeties, let us go and do a look and chat a little bit. Okay, so we are talking of course today about the Beige Waves collection, or the Beige Waves palette. Okay, so I have a plan. The nice thing is that there are nice dark shades in here. Yeah, so I'm going to do something with this palette today, and I want to talk to you about modesty. Now, this is probably the most boring topic possible for anyone out there who is not into it. But it is actually one of the topics that has been requested, and I'm going to try to make it not boring, okay? Okay, this is Sand Castles. This is the shade Sand Castles, which is this one right here. Basically the middle shade, sort of, between the brown mattes. And I'm just going to kind of use it as a transition shade, so I can see if something builds on top of it, also because of course there is a darker shade there, and we shall see. I was actually gonna do a bit of a halo eye, but now I'm not so sure anymore. I think I will not. I don't know. Sometimes I have to like change my mind in the middle of the thing. So, okay, so in any case, we wanted to talk about modesty. Now, the thing is with modesty, I have spoken about my own modesty and my journey towards it, because I have been, like, when I came to my country, to Israel, for the first time, I was wearing tight leather pants and a tank top. you know? So just saying, it was a journey. It was a journey, and it cost me a lot of tears. No, I was not forced into it. I was not forced into it. But for me personally, it was a journey that involved tears also, because I felt like I had treated myself wrong. That was the reason why I was crying. And also, of course, yes, you have to, of course, say goodbye to habits that you have and to all the clothes that you have. My whole wardrobe was not modest. You know, there was not a modest thing. Everything was like half see-through or super, super small or very, very tight, you know. Now, with tight is not such a big problem. You can still be modest in a way, but, you know, it shouldn't be see-through, and it shouldn't be so tiny that basically everything of your body is showing. So, okay, but today I actually want to talk about, because that was actually the question that I got from one of you, how I got, or how I'm planning to raise my daughters like this. Okay, it's hard. Okay, so let us go in with Sunset, which is the lighter of the mattes here. And now the thing is, in today's world where everything goes and everything is possible and everything is accepted in a way, I think it's a foolish notion, honestly. And I don't think it is truly everything is being accepted. I don't think so. It's just what we are trying to believe, but I don't think it is actually that way. But in a way, it is hard to raise children with values, you know. It is hard, and I see it as a value. I do not see it as a restriction, because I personally came to really, really love it, and to also honor myself, my own body, my own value like that. And I think I'm rocking it. You know, you can disagree, of course, because it's all a matter of taste, and of course also where you stand in your own opinion on this subject. Might not be important at all to you, and maybe you rock at, I don't know, wearing hot pants and tank tops. I don't know, but it had nothing to do for me personally with not having the body, you know, to show my body or something like this. For me personally, it had to do with, I had shown my body way too much, and I had paid the price way too much, you know. And I felt like, no, I'm done with being subjected to this, and I'm done with treating myself this way and with being treated by other people that way. Okay, so personal experiences, never mind that. So of course I cannot protect my children from things out there, and also a modest dress code will not do that necessarily. It might help a little bit, but it's not really about that. It's more about your own value, and I value myself really, really high, you know. So yeah, not always. It just has started to be that way like the last, I don't know, let's say 20 years. Just shows how old I am. But yeah, so that is basically it. Okay, sweeties, how am I planning to do this? Now my oldest girls they just turned 11. There are a set of twins. Their names are Shalevet and Kinneret, and then I have also a smaller girl, which is also a twin, but a boy-girl twin, basically, because her brother is a boy, and that is Malkiela. Now she just turned 7. So with the little one, I don't have problems yet, because she is still far away from puberty. She still wears what I tell her to, and she really, really enjoys being a princess and having like long dresses and everything, and like putting as much as possible and as many layers as possible on her, because then she's going to look like a princess. You know, that is still, she's still in that stage, and that's very, very sweet, and I'm really enjoying it. Okay, with my older girls though, it is already starting to be a little bit more difficult, because of course they are kind of going towards puberty now, and with the development of the world that everything happens so much earlier now, I'm already battling sometimes with them, you know. In addition to them being, of course, at the age where you want to make your own decisions and you feel like you need to be rebellious and you need to know everything better than your parents. Yeah, I've been there too. In addition to that, it is also like the biggest influence is friends in school. Now they are going to a religious school, but it is not that kind of school where they have a school uniform that is modest. They do have certain requirements of a dress code. There, for example, they're not allowing anything printed on their t-shirts or something like this, because of course some people can afford brand clothing and some don't, so they just say, okay, have a normal t-shirt that has nothing on it, you know, for example, stuff like that. But they're not, for example, enforcing long sleeves, or, and they shouldn't, why should they, and also like long skirts or something like this. Okay, so the dress code for me is have this kind of a length is totally fine for me. Of course there are other people who say you should definitely cover your elbows. I don't care about stuff like this, but I do want the skirt to go down to the knees and not be shorter, you know. Now the thing is that in their class, and they're in a girls class, okay, it's not a girls school, but I think from grade 5, yeah, grade 5 and 6 they separate the boys and the girls. Before then they are together in one class. Okay, the girls in the class mostly are coming from families that are not religious, and they're just going to that school, which is kind of like a medium religious school, because this is the neighborhood school, you know, and that is a problem, honestly, because of the influence of those girls and their families. It is a problem because it confuses my girls. Now I always want to be open for influences, and not go and live in a ghetto, because that doesn't help either. It doesn't help anyone to live in a ghetto and to shut yourself away and to not be part of the world and not see what is out there. I think that would be the wrong approach. So but I, as a result of that, spent a lot of time trying to be the counterweight on the other side, and still trying, in addition to that, to make it fun, because they see from me that it can be fun, it can be beautiful, it doesn't need to be boring and everything. But of course the girls in their class, they want to wear black all the time because it's cool, and they want to have like the skirts as short as possible because it's sexy, and you know, stuff like this. So do I condemn them for that? No, I think it is a very, very normal stage in life. I've gone through it, so I'm not going to condemn my girls for feeling the exact same thing just because, well, they're feeling it a little bit earlier than I felt it, you know? I felt it maybe like 2 years later than them, but yeah, maybe I'm a bit late. But in any case, that is what it is. So how am I doing it? Honestly, it is learning by doing. These are my first girls that are reaching that point, of course, and for me it is not easy, because I feel like I'm battling a very, very big weight here, you know. I find it very, very hard, and I sometimes, or most of the time, I really do not know how in the world am I going to raise these kids, and they will just, I don't know, half of my values, you know. If they could just follow half of my values by the time they grow up, I can be really, really grateful, because it feels like as generations go by, it just gets less and less, you know, which is very distressing for me. So in any case, let us also try this one. Is this seashell? I think this is seashell. This one, and I'm just going to use it to blend out this upper shade here a little bit, the shade Sunset. This looks like it has a bit of a warm undertone, which just makes sense because it's kind of beach and sand and stuff like that. So let's just put that on. And yeah, so I think by setting a good example, that is one of the ways to do it, and it's probably the best way to do it, because as you probably know, talking is very preaching, kinda, you know, talking about the topic, they just roll your eyes at you, you know. Well, my girls, not necessarily, they don't necessarily roll their eyes at me, I would not allow it, but what they do inside their heads is, of course, I cannot control that. Oh, you know what, I forgot, I wanted to use the brushes. Okay, so I'm going to also use the by Nykolla brushes. Well, seriously, I had put them right here and I didn't look. Sweeties. Okay, so let us use, do they have numbers? No. So this is a bit of an angled, do you see there's a bit of an angled brush? So I'm going to use that super dark shade. I think I have to still do some blending. It still looks a bit patchy here, but I'll do that later. This is, wow, what is this? I don't know. I have no idea. I can't read it. This one. Okay, so it is the font and it's very small. Something with lines? 10 lines maybe? I have no idea. Getting too old for small print. Okay, so that is what it is. Okay, so I'm trying to set a good example. I'm trying to talk to them about this whole topic, and of course, as long as they are still at that age, 11 years old, I can also check what they're wearing, you know. They will not leave the house without having passed by me, so I can say this skirt is too short, or this skirt has to go back to the secondhand store or something like this, because you're not wearing this anymore, this is not suitable anymore because you have outgrown it and by now it's too short, you know. Of course we're not going out and buying short skirts, but sometimes, you know, sometimes they get shorter with time, obviously. So yeah, that is basically all I can do, and I can pray that you know, something sticks because I really don't know. Yeah, but that is, I don't have a real tool where I can say use this and then it's gonna work. I have nothing like that, you know. Okay, so let us also use Coral, which is the brown shimmer, and let's place that, of course, on the lid and see what that does. Oh, this is pretty. This is pretty. Also, the pickup on the brush was super nice, and opacity looks really nice, and just the shade itself is really pretty. So you probably see from the intro, or you saw, that I'm planning to do a nice and blue under eye area, so very excited about that. But of course you know all about it already. Okay, so I'm just blending this here a bit, and I think then I still want to go in and blend this upper area here a little bit, because that is still, at least to me, it still looks patchy, so I don't know, we shall see. Okay, so this is how it applied with the brush only, which I think is really nice. Okay, so now I'm going to take another brush which looks like a rounded crease brush, and I'm going to go in with that medium brown, the shade Seashells, and I'm just going to place this here and just kind of, you know, start blending and blending, because apparently my most favorite thing in the whole world. Yeah, so that is my 2 cents on that subject, because I honestly, I don't have much else to give, you know. I'm talking about this because it was requested, and for some of you out there it might be interesting, but honestly I do feel it is a struggle, and it is, I find, anyway, raising my children and educating them and all of that, I find it very hard. I think it is the hardest job I've ever done in my life. Now, I know that a lot of parents don't look at parenting that way. I know that also in their class, a lot of parents let their kids run free and decide whatever they want to decide and all of that, but I feel it's my responsibility to stand up for my children, and to a certain point in time, till they grow up, I will make the decisions for them. That is how I see parenting, and I've not just been put here to give birth to them, I'm also here to raise them, and not to just let things develop on their own. I think it is very dangerous to let kids grow up like that, you know. And this has nothing to do with like pushing them down with control and stuff like that, because I do feel like my kids are thriving. but I want them to thrive, or to be able to learn to thrive within the confines sounds so bad, but within a framework that protects them and that is good for their values. Okay, so that, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. I think you will probably understand if you're also living the life that I'm living, like a religious life, and you have those values. Doesn't matter now for which religion, you know, because of course you can live this life absolutely disconnected from religion, but I personally, from me growing up and not being protected, I want to be protected. And now, because yes, I still need the protection, honestly, you know, but also I want my children to learn that for themselves. And honestly, it also applies to the boys, because there is also a dress code for boys. It's not like it's only for girls and boys can run around the way they want and they can wear shorts that just cover their butt, you know. That is also not modest, and we're not allowing that either. So yeah, of course at some point I'm going to have to let go, and I'm going to have to cut the cord and say, okay, so however you guys run your own household is not going to be part of my job anymore. And I'm very, very much looking forward to that point in my life. Honestly, it is going to be hard. I know. I'm probably going to be crying and like, I don't know, it's going to be hard to cut that cord after all of those years of taking responsibility. But I think once I am rid of this load of responsibility, which keeps like really weighing heavy on me, I think I'm going to really, really enjoy it. You know? Yeah, but raising 7 children with all of their issues and with all of their needs, and then also putting in the outside things, you know, like values and who knows what, it is, I don't know how people do it. I don't know how to do it. I'm just trying to figure it out every single day. So that is it. I'm gonna finish this look and we'll meet here for the swatches and the review part in just a second. Okay, sweeties, here we are for the review part, of course. Okay, sweeties, I'm going to zoom you in so you can take a closer look, and then of course we're going to talk a little bit more in depth, and also of course about how I finished the look, which I'm pretty sure is pretty obvious, but in any case. Okay, sweeties, this is how the look turned out, and I think it's really, really lovely. I think it shows the soul of the palette, I would say. And let me just show you how I got this. First of all, the package in which it came in, it was very, very luxurious, I have to say. It was a super, super nice box that it came in, and then there is this little sack, you know, with by Nykolla on it, and the palette is of course this one that I already showed you, and then here we also do have the brush set, which you can see right here. Okay, so these are eye brushes, and they all have also the by Nykolla on it. They feel super, super nice. Really, really nice. So far so good. Of course I have not washed them, so I cannot tell you how they'll look afterwards. Maybe I can talk about it in a mini review video later on or something, how the performance is, but so far so good. I think they performed super, super well. Okay, let's just put those to the side for a second and look at the palette. Okay, so it comes in a sleeve. Let me just try to get this out with my nails. I'm telling you, I'm really handicapped with these nails now. Okay, here we go. That took me some time. Okay, the sleeve is a little bit different than this one. You basically, here you have the same thing, but here it is colorful and here it is not. But you do have the ingredients and everything also on the sleeve and also on the palette. Then it is cardboard packaging. You do have a mirror and you do have shade names. I find the shade names a little bit harder to read because it is a font that is like a handwritten font, and it is a gold shade, like a shiny gold on a beige. So that is a little bit hard for me personally to read. Let me just wipe this because I just made a mess of the palette while swatching it. Sorry, sweeties. Yeah, but beyond that, I think it is sorry, that's just me being messy. Okay, so that is how the palette looks. Cardboard packaging, I already told you, and magnetic closure. Really nice. Okay, sweeties. Then what also came in the package was a very cute necklace, and my girls took that already because, you know, they always feed off me. And what else was there? Oh, there was, for decoration purposes, there were also like seashells and stuff in the package, which was so sweet. So the whole impression when you get this is just really like thought through, well-rounded, everything like on theme, and really nice. Okay, let's also talk now quickly about how I finished the look. For the inner corner, I actually used my highlighter that I also have here, and that is Skywalker from Kaleidos Makeup, because it does have a bit of a bluish undertone, you know, or shift to it. So that's why I chose this one. Okay, and then of course for under my eyes, I have a blue on my waterline, and everything is going to be linked in the description box in case you want to have more information about the products. And then I have this one, of course. I placed this one down first, blended it out with this one, and then towards the outside and really close to the lash line, I backed it up with this one. So that is basically it. Besides the yellow, I used all of the shades in the look. Okay, so let's talk about the swatches. The swatches, I have to say, the palette performed super well during the swatching. Super well. They feel so smooth and so velvety to the touch, the mattes as well as the shimmers. The brown is so foiled, like really foiled and really opaque and super nice. This one is a tiny little bit less opaque, but it does have a shift to it. It's like a dark blue slash purple kind of a thing, and you can also use it as a topper shade. It is opaque, or it can build up to full opacity, but if you just put one layer on, I think, I'm pretty sure, I've not tried it, but just from the feel of it, you could use it as a topper shade too, you know? So that is that. But all of those shades swatched super well, felt super creamy. There was not a single shade that was dry or patchy or weird or crumbly or anything, you know. This was super good. Okay, now for the performance on the eyes. You probably saw, or you heard me say, that it was a little bit patchy here, and sweeties, this is something I just forget sometimes, that I sleep on my stomach, and basically I have the imprint of my pillow in my face when I wake up. So I actually did have some imprint. It was not really visible anymore, but the second you put color on it, it becomes visible. You know, it's like a watermark kind of a situation. So in any case, once I put color on, I saw that there were like weird waves going on, and I was like, what in the world, you know? But as you can see, it all disappeared, because by now my face has straightened out. You know, now it's like a couple hours after I've gotten up, and I should really stop sleeping on my face, but I just really like to do that. So yeah, so that was that. There was not a problem with the shades. It was just because the surface, the canvas, was not smooth. You know, it was not really smooth. So that is that. Buildability, absolutely fine. Pigmentation, super fine. I do not believe there will be any staining at all, because of these kinds of colors. They usually don't stain. And beyond that, I think you can see there is no creasing. This look is now, let me check my phone. What's the time now? So this look is about 4 hours old. I have not touched up on anything or smoothed out anything. This is how it is. This is how I applied it. So there is no creasing, no separating of the shimmer shades or anything. So I am really happy with this performance. And I have to say that for a first palette, sweeties, these are the first releases of that brand, you know? For a first palette, I don't think you can do it better. Just formula-wise, forget the color scheme for now, you know, but just formula-wise, I think this compares to like Scott Barnes and stuff like this, you know? I think this is really good stuff, you know? And if you are based in Europe too, and I am right, and this is really based in Europe, then, and this is the color scheme you like, and maybe she's also going to come out with more colorful things, who knows, then, you know, please consider this one, because seriously, I'm super impressed. Super impressed. really. And also let's just take a moment and talk about the depth in the palette, which is so nice, because you can go so wild with this palette in that color scheme, of course, you know. So these two shades here, they are both mattes. You do have only two shimmers, this one and this one. Everything else is mattes, and this one and this one might look a little bit maybe too similar to you, but this one here is a little bit more towards the true brown, and this one here has a bit of a pinkish hint to it. So there is a difference, and of course also this is already in general a shade lighter, but yeah, so this is that. Also this one actually worked super well. Of course this one I only used to blend out this one, but it still, you know, I think this is a very cool palette, and if this is a concept you know you want to work with and you're wearing a lot, you should definitely consider this palette, because sweeties, the formula was exceptionally good. Seriously, you know. So that was that. I am super happy that I got to try this and that I got to really give you a very positive feedback on this, because it was that good. It was that good, you know. And I think you can also see that it turned out really well, and I love it, you know. So I'm ready for my Shabbat. So that's great, and I'm super grateful that I got to try this. Sweeties, please check out that brand, and let's support the little ones, because you know, my fledglings, they all need our support and our love. And beyond that, of course, check out my description box for all the information about everything that I'm wearing on my face, everything that has been mentioned and not been mentioned, and of course my links to social media, ways to support my channel, and all the discount codes that I do have with the different brands. Beyond that, leave me your comments, of course, in the comment section, also maybe on the topic that I spoke about in the video. I know that there are so many different opinions and so many different ways to look at it and so many ways to do it, and I don't think anyone has the magic key to to raising children. I don't think anyone will ever look back and think, wow, I did everything right. So and I'm very open about not knowing how to do it. I really don't, you know. I'm just trying my best, and I think that is really all we can ask of ourselves, to always be in the position that we know that we tried our best. Did we fail? Yes, obviously, because we're people, you know, and I think that is just, it's just normal, you know, and we are allowed to fail. And I think it would be frightening for children to grow up with parents that do everything right and are these superhumans. I don't think that would be healthy. All right, sweeties, that was getting off my soapbox right now, sweeties. Okay, all right, so if you like it here, and that would be great, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here for this journey, and of course come back for my next video, which is going to be super soon. And up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.